For Christmas, I asked for a random orbit sander, and my parents got me the Dewalt, model number DWE6423K. Never used a random orbit sander before, so I thought I would bring you along for my first look. I bought some 220 8-hole sandpaper. It's the Velcro, or as they say, hook and loop that attaches to the sander. So let's give this a try and see how well it works. I'd like to try this out on 3 different materials. I have a piece of plywood with some tool marks where my saw caught this. Thought I'd also try and sand on that. But this is finishing plywood, but it's still a little rough. I have a 2x4 that's been cut in half, and so this side is very rough. And then I have a piece of red oak, which is smooth by default, but I definitely want to see if it will smooth this up even more. So let's start off with the plywood and see what happens. Let's open up this 220 here. Grab a piece of that out. 220 is definitely a finishing sandpaper, but it should do well. I'm thinking that's going to be one issue with this Velcro, is that it's going to capture a lot of debris over time, but probably can't be helped. I'm going to try and line up the holes here, because that's what pulls the sawdust into the bag or the shop vac. So, okay, I think that's good enough. It just sticks on there. I did make sure to line up all the holes. Excuse my cloud of breath. It's cold out here today, as you might tell. I've heard that sanders kick up a lot of dust, so I'm gonna wear a mask, eye protection, and ear protection. First thoughts on the results. It made the plywood very smooth, which is good. Now of course this is 220, so I wasn't expecting it to take too much material out here, but it did take some of that tool marking out. Not too bad. Over here on the 2x4, it made this very smooth, and you can see where it changed the color from about here on. So definitely took a little bit of that material away, but it is very smooth. And then the red oak, if I feel down here versus here, a very noticeable difference. So that 220 is definitely making all of this much smoother. Let's check this dust trap and see what it collected. Let's pop this open here. So, very little. There's a little bit of discoloration there inside the bag, but it's just a very fine powder and not much of it. So, not too bad. Now the shop vac that I have is too small. It fits inside of here, a little bit tight, but does work. But I have a feeling this is designed for a specific sized shop vac hose. My thoughts on the Dewalt Random Orbit Sander. Well, I need to read up on the speed setting here, because I assume the different grit you have on here needs to have a higher or lower speed. So I'm not exactly sure what to say about that, but I like the grip a lot. It's a nice rubber. I never felt like it was going to slip out of my hand at all. It was not as loud as I was expecting. I'm still going to wear ear protection, of course, but so that wasn't too bad. The dust did collect some in here. but wasn't much. I didn't do much sanding though, so I'm sure if you were doing an hour's worth of sanding, you'd have a full bag in here. The Velcro attachment was painless. Let's see how it is to get it off here. It's on there pretty good, so that's nice to know that it isn't going to be just slipping off at any moment. Now, when I was using this thing, it seemed like it would follow my direction. So if I was pushing it, it seemed like it wanted to go that way, and when I was pulling it, it seemed like it changed directions and wanted to come back to me. So that was kind of fun. So it wasn't hard to hold on to like I was kind of expecting it to be. Let's see, what else can I say about this thing? Well, this definitely is not intended to be a review. I just wanted to open the box and show you that I've got one now, and I intend on using it in plenty more projects in the future. If you've got some awesome tips on how to use a random orbit sander, whether it be with the speed settings or various types of paper, I would love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.